Hey everybody. So today is January 13th. The reason that date's important is because it was 6 months ago today, on July 13th, that my friends Pam and Amanda saved my life. They came and checked on me. Well, Amanda came and checked on me. Pam beat the ambulance to the hospital. They took care of me, had my sister on the phone until my parents could get to me, making decisions that had to be made that obviously I was not in any shape to make. I firmly believe that from start to finish, God was involved in this because, it had only been a few hours, but my sister was concerned, my parents were concerned, my friends were concerned. And because of that connection that they had, my parents were coming up, but it takes them 2 hours to get here. I didn't have 2 hours left. And let's be honest, if I had still by some miracle been a little bit alive, the damage would have been, it would have been catastrophic, and then my family would have had whole different kinds of decisions to make. So I cannot thank Pam and Amanda enough. I don't know how you thank people for that. I made a list the other day of all the people who visited me, either in the hospital or rehab or when I got back home. And that list is incredible. And it's people from all stages and all walks of my life. Obviously, Pam and Amanda were with me every day, when I was in ICU, and then even when I got to the main floor, they came many times. My parents, my sister, not a day went by that during visiting hours, I didn't have at least two of them with me. Some combination, might have been my mom and my dad, might have been my dad and my sister, might have been my mom and my sister, but there were two of them with me during visiting hours, all through the hospital, all through rehab. Dr. Bell, who was my principal a couple of times, he was there almost every single day I was in the hospital. Almost every single day he was there. My friend Jennifer, she, was in ICU with my mom, helping to warm up my feet. My friend Tasha, she loaded me down with lots of warm blankets, including this one with cats on it that I love so much because I'm a cat girl. My friend Joe, we've been friends since we were 12. She was in ICU. My friends Kim and Paula and their mom Sandy, I can't thank them enough. And honestly, through the hospital and through rehab, I got a card almost every single day from Kimberly. So thanks, Kim. I appreciate them. My friend Lisa, that we've been friends since we were like 3 and 4, made the trip up. And again, it's like an hour and a half from my hometown. Made the trip up with her husband to see me when I was in the hospital. Like, just colleagues, friends, just a former or a current student came to rehab to see me. Pastor came and prayed for me. My aunt and uncle came up, then my aunt, a couple of aunts came up, just, it's pretty incredible. Colleagues came to see me in rehab, came to see me when I got home. I don't even know that I have everybody on the list, but it is a very lengthy list. It's probably about 40 people. And again, I don't even know if I have everybody. But I want to tell you, I think about it every single day. I think about it all day, every day. Initially, it was absolute terror. When I came home from the hospital, I was afraid to sleep. My mom stayed downstairs with me, or my sister would stay downstairs with me because I wasn't really able to take the steps yet. And I was afraid to go to sleep because I was afraid I wouldn't wake up. Because in the hospital and rehab, at least I had people coming in and out, especially in the hospital, in and out all hours of the night, checking on me. And then after my mom went home, when it was just my sister and me, my sister was upstairs, I was downstairs. My sister would come and lean over the landing and just, 2:00 in the morning, are you okay? Just making sure I was able to answer. I was terrified when she went home and it was just me. And I was really struggling to sleep, but it was a necessary step. But I had people constantly, even now, if I get to work really early, and if I am not at work yet, when Pam gets to work, if we have not had communication that morning, she calls me to see if I'm okay. Surround yourself with people like this. Seriously. I still get super emotional. I cry all the time. I mean, I was already a crybaby, but it's even a little more intense now. I cry all the time. And I have no shame about that. I don't care. I get overwhelmed in the best kind of way. When I first came home from the hospital and I was still on insulin, I have a glucose monitor, I was so scared. I was scanning it probably 50 times a day. Now I'm down to 10 to 15 times a day. I'm not on insulin anymore and we're having some issues. Well, it's been running high for the past week and a half, but my endocrinologist told me to just chill because, of course, I needed more challenges. So on December 30th, I tested positive for COVID, which will raise your blood sugar. Illness can raise your blood sugar. And they put me on Paxlovid, the antiviral, to try to, with my history, my medical history, can't really take chances. But that also will raise your blood sugar. So for about a week and a half, I've had some issues, but my endocrinologist was like, you're okay. At a couple of weeks from now, if it's still running high, let me know and we'll talk about adjusting your meds. But you're okay. I still have doctor's appointments. I had a checkup with my primary care yesterday and I ask all the questions, because I want to make sure that I'm optimizing my health to the best that I can at the state that it is. So questions like, okay, what weight do you want me at? I asked my endocrinologist, what numbers am I striving for with my glucose? And and I go in a couple of weeks to see my nephrologist for a checkup. My primary care doesn't want to see me back for 6 months, except I go have lab work done this week. But she's like 6 months. My endocrinologist actually said, we can go as long as a year if you want, but I opted for 4 months because I'm still new to this regulation game. I get very, very emotional, but I am so incredibly grateful. I'm grateful for the support. I'm grateful to be alive. I am so incredibly grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for God. Look, He's been in this from the beginning. Like, we have American Fidelity as American Fidelity comes in their job and they offer extra benefits besides just our health insurance, which shout out to Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, because my bills would have been $500,000 without my insurance, but instead it was left to my deductibles. So shout out to Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. But American Fidelity, like 3 years ago, I randomly decided on a whim, and I'm going to say this is God because there was no reason for me to ever think I was going to need this. I hadn't even been diagnosed as diabetic yet. But I decided to get disability insurance for no reason. A year later, I decided to double that. And I have the cancer plan because my family does have a history of skin cancer and thyroid cancer. So I just added that. American Fidelity, and our representative worked with my friends and my sister to do the paperwork I was so swollen. Even when I woke up, first of all, it took a couple of weeks before my phone would even recognize my face. I was so swollen, had all these tubes and stuff. But I was so swollen, I couldn't hold my phone. And even when I couldn't really punch anything in. So my sister worked with the American Fidelity representative from my school, and they were able to get the paperwork filled out. The first payment from my insurance, for my disability, was in my bank account before I even left the hospital. And just recently they discovered some more that I was eligible for because of my ICU stay. I'm just going to tell you, American Fidelity, because of the disability insurance, I was able to pay off all my hospital and doctor bills. So I'm coming out of this without owing anything, which is miraculous. You know, I firmly believe that God is the one who nudged me to go ahead and get that. I firmly believe God is the one who nudged Pam and Amanda and my sister and my parents to be in communication when it had only been a few hours since they'd heard from me, but they knew something was wrong. And they didn't just rest on it. They made moves. And I firmly believe that was them listening to God. The doctors, you know, they even told me we're just tools in God's hands. I think God definitely had a hand in that. And I don't know why he saved me. I don't know why I'm alive. There's got to be a reason other than just, you know, my family not having to deal with the loss, my friends not having to. There's more to it than that. I just don't know what it is yet. But I'm telling you right now, God's been in the thick of this from day one. From actually before it ever happened. He knew. And he set me up to be able to handle it. I am back in the classroom full time, and yeah, I still love a good snow day, and I'm still waiting on an NTI day, but I am so thankful. And not only that, but he gave me kids that are not behaviorally ridiculous this year. You know, so it's easier to kind of move back into the classroom when I'm not having some of the behavioral challenges, shall we say, that I've had in years past. You know, I seem to have a good mix of kids in each class. And I'm tired. I am still exhausted all the time. That's going to be a while. You know, I still get home and put my feet up in the recliner. I still rest as much as I can at work. I still have to drink a lot of water. I still have to walk a lot to get my numbers down. But you know what? I'm alive to do it. I'm alive to do it. And I'm so grateful. And so here's from me to you. God is still the God of miracles. Surround yourself with friends who care enough that when they don't hear from you, they don't just write you off. They go and look. They go check. You know, if you are estranged from family members, unless it is a dangerous situation, mend those bridges. Because your family, like, push comes to shove, you know, just, and be grateful every day that you have a chance to make your life better. If you are not in good health, if you are eating the wrong things, if you are not taking time to move your body, please do it now while you can. Do it now while you can. It could be the difference between life and death at some point. So if you are one of the people who has supported me, you know, if I know you, you probably were on my team. There are very few people who I am very well aware didn't, you know, whether I made it or not, you know. And there are probably some people who kind of disappointed that I did make it, because let's be honest, I can be a little sassy. But surround yourself with good people. Do everything you can to protect your health. Get your checkups. Have your doctors check your numbers, your A1C, your kidney function. Like, have them check things. Know what type of blood you are. I did not know what my blood type was until I was in the hospital. My hemoglobin dropped and they had to give me a unit of blood. That's how I found out my blood type. So know these things if at all possible. Be grateful for the air in your lungs and for the people in your life. You know, wishing you health and happiness.